All right, I'm out here, Shannon. Thank you for the kind introduction. Yeah, we had a big time in Denver. It was great. On the last day, my wife and I decided to take up a drive up to Breckenridge. It was absolutely beautiful. Love that part of the country. We are excited, folks, to share the information with you this evening. Thank you all for your time. My purpose here is to serve you, so hopefully I'll be able to deliver the content that you came to listen to. I noticed that there are a lot of new names on the attendee list, so I'm excited for that. So guys, I'm here for you, and I hope to be able to deliver exactly what you're looking for. We're going to kick this thing off by talking about some game-changing companies. All right, both game-changing companies' ideas and or technologies that truly disrupt the way we do things. What do I mean by that? I mean the way that we have traditionally done something all of our lives, and all of a sudden a new way comes along. That's what it is. Now, to be a game changer, you don't necessarily have to be first to market. You just have to be the best in the market with your new way and sustain that over time. Companies like Apple with their iPhone. Now, the BlackBerry was definitely a game changer. If you guys remember, people were so addicted to those things because this whole texting and emailing from a phone thing was relatively new. They even called those deals crackberries because they were so addictive. So many people using them to communicate. But when the iPhone came along, that was the true disruptor. Why is that? Well, the iPhone is not just a phone. In fact, it's not a phone at all. It's a mobile computer that actually makes phone calls, is what it does. It changed the game for everybody, including computer programmers, of which I used to be one, in the whole 9 yards, because now you have to develop your apps, your websites, and everything else in a way that they're going to show up on a phone and be useful on a phone. So the iPhone was by far and away a big, big disruption. In fact, so much so that if you left your mobile phone at home and you were on your way to work and you got about 25 minutes away from home, I would bet that most of us on this call would actually turn around and be late to work to not forget this device. That's how connected we are. How about Netflix as a company? Now, Netflix launched in 1997. Blockbuster at the time didn't think they had a prayer. The reason is Blockbuster subscribed to the old way. They said that people wanted interaction. They wanted help in choosing a movie. They wanted to come in and peruse like a bookstore and things like that. Guys, Netflix delivers content directly to your television, directly to your phone, directly to your computer. You don't need to go anywhere. There are no late fees. You can watch it 10 times. How Blockbuster didn't see this as a game changer is beyond me. They absolutely crushed that company, taking it from about 4,000 stores down to 400 now. Even Hollywood is paying attention with the way that Netflix delivers content. We can't mention disruptions without talking about Google. All right, Google came along. It was an ugly little website that we used to search. In fact, everybody goes, what a weird little name. But we have turned that from a search engine to a verb. We don't even say go search it anymore, do we? No, what we say is go Google it. Google has absolutely changed the way that we do things and look for information. How about the U.S. Postal Service getting crushed by email? 35 years ago, it was unheard of to think that the U.S. Postal Service might even cut their routes back because they didn't have enough mail going out to these locations. Email is by far and away a superior way to communicate with your friends. A couple of keystrokes, push send it all over the world. We have friends over in New Zealand. We have friends over in Australia, friends in South Africa, and we can communicate with them basically instantly through the internet. And we're going to be talking about a lot of internet-based technology tonight, and I think we can all agree on this phone call that the internet has woven its way into everything we do every single day. How about this? We cannot talk about disruptive technologies until we talk about the social media, Facebook, Twitter, Pinterest, Instagram, Snapchat. The list goes on and on and on. Used to, when you wanted to communicate with somebody or tell them about your vacation, or talk about a good restaurant, well, you give them a call and have a conversation. Not anymore, all right? You go to Facebook and you post where you're at, you check in, you write about the food you had. But you can't get away with anything if you're a business anymore because it'll end up on Facebook, okay? So Facebook is so big, guys. It has changed the way we've done things so much that if it were a country, it would literally be the third largest country in the world, gigantic, and has changed the way we've done things. But what we're here to talk about tonight is probably going to be the biggest disruption, the biggest game-changing idea in the history of the world as we know it. We're here to talk about the banking and finance industry and how it is going to have their world rocked by the new money called digital currency or cryptocurrency. And that's what we're here to talk about. Why is that? Well, cryptocurrency protects against inflation. Now, there are some of us on this phone call who remember what inflation looks like, remembers what the dollar bought back in the early 70s and how it doesn't buy that today. That's inflation. How does that happen? How does money get hyperinflated? Well, governments and central banks break promises and they print too much money. That cannot be done with cryptocurrency. I'm going to touch on that in a little bit. All right, benefits. The cryptocurrency also benefits the merchant. Why or how? Well, when you use a digital transaction today called a credit card, they actually pay a fee for you to be able to use that card at their establishment. Now, if they didn't have to pay that fee hundreds, if not thousands of times a day, do you think they might be able to benefit from that financially? Of course they would. And that's why merchants are highly attracted to this, because the fees to use cryptocurrency are either none or so low, they're basically non-existent. All right, so cryptocurrency is also a trusted transaction between people, meaning that buyer and seller, buyer and merchant, person to person, however it looks. All right, I want to park here for a second because this is exciting to me. All right, my entire life, born 1959, anytime that I wanted to do a transaction, what did I have to involve? Well, cash, that's a government. All right, check, that's a bank and a government. All right, here's the idea here. This is a way to conduct transactions peer-to-peer, person-to-person, without the intervention of any bank or any government. Anytime you use digital money, that's what you're doing. It's exciting. It's a new way of doing things, and it's absolutely putting a dent in the way the banks are thinking today. All right, it is also positioning itself as the next world reserve currency because it's global. In other words, if it's on the internet, it goes cross-border. It's also digital and it's networked. All right, networking is part of what keeps this transaction trusted. And we'll talk a little bit more about that in a bit. Now, I always have liked to follow straight money, smart money. So I'm going to talk about Sir Richard Branson. He was the founder of the Virgin Group. He's got all kinds of different things: Virgin Atlantic Airways, Virgin Galactic Airways, Virgin Records, the list goes on. He says it feels strange to think of a world without cash. No more notes or coins to find down the back of a sofa, but it appears that's the way things are heading. This guy accepts Bitcoin on Virgin Galactic Airways so that you can take a flight into outer space. He bought Boeing 737s for Virgin Atlantic Airways with Bitcoin so that he could do a trusted transaction outside the government. Saved him a ton of fees on that purchase. How about this guy? Think he might know a thing or two about money? This is the former Federal Reserve Chairman, Mr. Ben Bernanke, says that virtual currencies may hold long-term promise, particularly if the innovations promote a faster, more secure, and more efficient payment system. And that is exactly what virtual currency, i.e. cryptocurrency, digital monies do. They do exactly what he's saying here. So, of course, they hold long-term promise. And who could talk about smart money without talking about the guy that changed the world with a personal computer, has put one in every business, on every desk, all over the world? Mr. Bill Gates from Microsoft says in the future, financial transactions will be digital, they'll be universal, and they'll almost be free. The Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation believes in digital currency so much, they just dropped $30 million in donations to third world countries to teach them how this works. Now, if guys like that aren't big enough, how about these industry giants? All right, that doesn't float your boat, look at this. Goldman Sachs. Okay, they filed a patent application for their new coin called Settlecoin. All right, this coin is going to be used to settle transactions on the commodities market between fiat currencies and commodities. Going to make it faster for them. They'll be able to do more trades. They've already filed that patent. Banking giant, Bank of America, in addition to 15 previously filed related patents, they are drafting another 20 patents on this technology. All right, when a banking giant like this says, uh-oh, things are changing, let us get in front of it. We want the patents on some of this stuff. That is a clue, my friends. So it's time to start paying attention. How about Fidelity Investments, one of the world's largest mutual funds, 2 trillion assets under management, is trademarking Fidelity Coin. This is news you can find anywhere on the internet. Citibank is working on its own digital currency called Citicoin. See, there's a tsunami, there's a giant wave, there's a tidal wave coming. It's been coming for a long time. But this is what companies, this is what countries, this is what governments do. They slip one under the door on us. Well, not this time. All right, these are signs. Please pay attention. If this weren't enough, talk about countries. Look, even entire countries are going cashless. Sweden, cash transactions just down to 3% of the national economy. Everything digital in Sweden. In fact, they boast that they will be the first cashless society on the globe. South Korea has even given special tax treatments for people that don't use cash. Now, I don't know how many of you are familiar with this. This isn't even on this slide, but Japan, an article just came out on Investopedia.com that a friend of mine sent to me, how the whole idea of negative interest rates aren't working. But what is that? What does that mean? That means when you get your paycheck and put it in a bank at the Central Bank of Japan, they're charging you negative interest. Negative interest, meaning that when you go get your $100 bill, it's a $99 bill. People don't want to use cash anymore. Countries don't want to use cash anymore. We can get in front of that wave. We can learn to profit from that. We can position ourselves to catch the next big thing. Somaliland, average person makes 34 transactions a month from their mobile phone. Canada hasn't printed a Canadian dollar since January 1st of 2013. And Kenya is probably the largest use case of digital payment systems and digital money, called M-Pesa, M for mobile. Pesa means money in Swahili. There's over 15 million subscribers. There's a 60 Minutes video floating out there somewhere. I beg you to find it and watch it. It's amazing about how Kenya is actually a first adopter of this idea, and it's going great. So this is a crazy, crazy good stuff. I'm going to start by kind of going over, on the educational part tonight, is going over the evolution of money. So way back in the day, we used to ride around with some precious metals. Maybe we had a little sack of gold dust. Maybe we had some silver coins or something like that. But precious metals, gold and silver, were used as currency. Then we came to our current monetary system, paper money and coins. And then after that, we evolved to the credit card. And this was the beginning of the digital age. Why do I say that? Because when you use a credit card, no money changes hands. The only thing that changes are a bunch of electronic ledgers. The ledger at the bank, the ledger at the credit card company, your ledger, you know, all of that changes. One goes plus, one goes minus. This was the beginning of the digital transaction age. Then we've graduated to online payment systems, but these are still connected to your bank account. PayPal, Pop Money, Rocket Pays, Venmo. There's one called Zoom and many, many others out there. From there, we've gone to digital wallets. But again, remember, guys, these kinds of financial instruments are actually connected to your bank account. Apple Pay, Google Wallet, Samsung Pay, Android Pay. The next one is the next evolution in digital payments, and this is cryptocurrency, not connected to your bank account, has nothing to do with fiat currency and or coin. And we're going to talk about that right now. So here's a brief tutorial. That $10 bill right there isn't really a $10 bill. It is not a Federal Reserve note. It is actually called a silver certificate. Why? Because it says at the bottom of it, payable in silver coin to the bearer on demand. You can't find those anymore. And certainly if you went to our government and tried to get $10 worth of silver, they probably wouldn't even know how to act. How about the one in the middle? The $20 gold certificate. Again, in gold coin, payable to the bearer on demand. Doesn't exist anymore. What does exist now is this thing. All right, this thing is called a Federal Reserve note. The only thing that makes this money is because the government says so. It's backed absolutely by nothing. How do I know that? Because in 1971, Richard Nixon signed our lives away, so to speak, and created our currency as a complete fiat currency. Before that, we were part of the Bretton Woods, and I don't want to go too deep into that, but Bretton Woods was a monetary system that had a bunch of different countries backing their currencies by gold. We went off that standard. The average, that was what makes us fiat. The average fiat currency only lasts 39 years over history. There's been over 775 of them. The average lasts 39 years. We are actually 5 years over that. But guys, I don't think I have to tell you on this phone call, a dollar now buys about 8% of what it used to back when it first came out. So this is just a government issued promissory note made money by law. So what is it really? What it really is just a serial number. That serial number identifies that bill as to its denomination, as to where it was printed, as to all the things that you need to know, how long it's been in circulation, that whole 9 yards. Well, digital currency is very similar to that, in that digital currency is a serial number. Now, it doesn't exist on a computer. It exists in something called the blockchain. And a blockchain is a distributed ledger across that network that you saw in my earlier slide called the internet. And that's what makes it trusted, because it's not in one place, it's every place. And that's what that exact number, that HG048617556C, looks like when it's hashed. SHA stands for Secure Hashing Algorithm 256. This was the initial piece of cryptocurrency hashing algorithm that was out there. That is what that number would look like if you found it in the blockchain. Never going to be hacked, completely safe. I mean, you can take a look at it and you'd never figure it out. So here's the deal. There's a few terms that I want to talk about. The first one is called mining. This is a question that I get a lot. What is mining cryptocurrency? Well, it isn't this. It isn't a guy out there with a miner's cap on digging for gold like we most all think, or coal or ore or anything like that. It isn't that. What it is this. It's called a cyber mine. All those computers that you see there are actually mining for cryptocurrency. What does that mean? Well, cryptocurrency is not backed by nothing. It's backed by math, and that's what makes it trustable. And I'll give you an example. If you add 1 plus 1 now, or in 1872, or in the year 2400, it's always going to be 2. It's never going to be 3. It's never going to be 4. It's always going to be 2. So backed by math is the most trusted system that you could be. So what does mining mean? Well, we have these things called educational packages that come with free tokens. And when you submit those to this cyber mine, all right, out the other side, we start getting coins. It's as simple as that. Don't put any more thought to it. In go tokens, out come coins. All right, the tokens act like little miners in the mine. The coins are the gold. Just keep that in your mind. Here's another one that people struggle with, a thing called mining difficulty. All right, and I'll give you an example of what I mean by this. Okay, if we were all hunting for one Easter egg, all right, if there was only one person looking for that egg, our chances of finding it would be substantially higher than if there were 100,000 people looking for that Easter egg. You have very little chance. All right, if you were the only one looking for it, you'd have a great big chance. So mining works that same way. More and more and more and more people are buying educational packages and mining for cryptocurrency. All right, so over time, more people join the fray. That means that it gets harder and harder and harder to find. So this difficulty factor thing goes up. All right, so Bitcoin was the very first cryptocurrency circa 2008, late 2008, early 2009. And here's what it looked like. In early 2009, a coin was valued at just 10 cents. Remember that. All right, by 2012, January, it was valued at about 10 bucks. By June, it was valued at about 100 bucks. Now, if you're trading 10-cent pieces for even $10 or $100 bills, you're doing pretty darn good. But look what happened between June 2013 and November 2013. More and more miners joined, more and more coins were mined, and the thing shot to $1,242.03. Now, I'm going to ask this question. I want you to think about it. If we're trading $10 bills, $100 bills, or 10-cent pieces for $1,242 bills, how are we looking? We're looking pretty darn good. As a matter of fact, there were more millionaires made in this financial tool than any other investment type in the history of the world, in the history of recorded investments. More than diamonds, more than oil, more than coal, more than anything. More people made millions of dollars in Bitcoin than any other idea. Now, unfortunately, there's just as many stories out there of people who let it pass by, or people who thought it was a Ponzi scheme. There are people out there writing today that Bitcoin and digital currency is a Ponzi scheme. I mean, get real. Do you think that Goldman Sachs, do you think that Bank of America, do you think that the country of Kenya has got a little bit more on the ball than you do when you're Googling something and you find some blogger sitting in his mom's basement tapping out messages for money? Of course they do. Goldman Sachs is riddled with researchers, professional researchers. All they do is vet out the credibility of ideas, all right? So don't fall for that garbage that you might read on the internet. Instead, trust the friend that brought you to the dance here and dance with him, because we're doing really well. As a matter of fact, Bitcoin was currently trading at $414.64. I happen to have some. Many of my friends do too, but we're not here to talk about them. We're here to talk about OneCoin, because we're the up-and-comer for many, many reasons, and it is not too late for you to benefit financially from this thing we're calling cryptocurrency. I will agree that the days of buying a Bitcoin for 10 cents and selling it for $1,242 is probably gone. But there's a message there. There's something I want you to pay attention to. Early adopters win the game. Just think about that for a second. Get involved when it's time to get involved. If Bill Gates had come to you when the personal PC was first coming out, you might have thought Star Wars on that idea. But had you invested, you'd be a billionaire. If Mark Zuckerberg had approached you with this little scruffy hairdo of his and said, hey, I got this idea called Facebook, I need $1,000, you'd be a billionaire right now if you'd given him that money. Well, we're offering the same thing here. Get involved in an idea. Now, there's no guarantees that you're going to make that kind of money, but be an early adopter, get involved early, and make things happen for yourself. So here's what we're talking about. Since Bitcoins came out, all right, since they invented that idea in 2008, there's been over 650 other people trying to invent a better coin. All right, everybody's always trying to create a better mousetrap. Those are usually the ones that make all the money. But I want to point out on the right there how many different high-end companies that we all know about are accepting digital currency. Amazon.com and Overstock are two of the biggest, but you got Target, you got the Republican Party, the Libertarian Party, okay, so here's the deal, all right? The U.S. Elections Committee has approved digital currency as a means of donation. This legitimizes it, guys. CVS Pharmacy, Zappos, you can buy the tickets to the Kings, I mean, the whole 9 yards. Dish, you can pay your Dish network. You can even go to Expedia and pay for all your travel using digital monies. But I'm here to talk about two of them mainly, the front runner and the up-and-comer on the block, which is OneCoin, which is what we're here to talk about tonight. All right, Bitcoin, of course, has been around, like I said, late 2008, early 2009. They have a market cap of $6.3 billion. How do you get that? Well, you take the price of 414 that you see there in that column, by the available supply, you multiply the two, that equals the market cap. Look at us. We've been around for 14 months. We're already halfway there on the market cap. By the end of this year, we expect to pass them as the #1 currency in market cap. Why is that? Well, first of all, our coin is still affordable. It's $5.86 versus $414.64. So while Bitcoin has done a great job, and we appreciate them for being the trailblazers and the first to market, it's very expensive to play in their arena. In ours, it's still very affordable. Why? Because in our idea, we're early in it. Like I said, 14 months. We're an early adopter in this idea. So don't wait. Get involved today. All right. So here's the deal. I referred to us as the cryptocurrency 2.0. Why is that? We are trying to create a better mousetrap. One of the problems that we noted that was an issue with Bitcoin was you had to be very techie. You had to know a lot about computers and configuring motherboards and chips and all that kind of stuff in order to mine it. Ours is simple. You simply take the tokens, the free bonus tokens that you receive with your educational package here this evening, and you submit them to mining with one button push. We've also speeded up the process. Instead of using that SHA-256 algorithm, which was a great one, but a slow one, we're now using X11 and script algorithms, substantially faster and more secure. We also have a greater number of coins to produce. Why is that? Well, I talked earlier about cryptocurrencies positioning themselves as a global reserve currency. We are absolutely no different. We want to be in that arena, and we knew that Bitcoin's 21 million was simply not enough to play that game. So we are producing 2.1 billion coins over 4 years. Our reward is 10,000 coins every 10 minutes. That's 1.44 million coins being mined a day. If you do that math out, 2.1 billion is a 4-year period. And the last and final thing that I think really makes us who we are is that we are a high visibility company. We have a high visibility ownership. And what do I mean by that? Well, here's our founder, all right, Dr. Ruja Ignatova. She was born in Sofia, Bulgaria, and raised in Germany. She's an attorney herself. She's married to a German attorney. She got her law degree from Oxford University. She has a master's degree in economics from Constance University, studied for her PhD and wrote her thesis on corporate litigation at the University of Oxford and Constance. She's a former associate partner with McKinsey and Company, and she's the former CEO and chief financial officer of one of the biggest asset management funds in Bulgaria. 250 million euros under management in that firm. Now, does that mean she knows what she's talking about when it comes to banking and finance? Well, I'll leave that up to you. Of course she does. She has all kinds of experience. She has the utmost of credibility when it comes to speaking on this subject matter. So much so that when we asked to be in the Forbes Brand Voice magazine, now I want to make something perfectly clear to you guys. She was not on the cover of Forbes magazine that you find on your bookstore shelves or on your newsstands. Forbes Brand Voice is a paid-for advertisement, but it is $250,000 to $300,000, and you do have to qualify to be in there. Why is that? Well, do you think you see the name Forbes right above her head? All right, do you think Forbes is going to let just anybody, if Alan Delaney calls up there and wants to be on the cover of Forbes Brand Voice? Well, I'd like to think I might qualify, but I may not. I know a lot of stuff, but probably not quite what she does. The credibility that we gain by her being able to qualify through the vetting process that Forbes puts you through is amazing. You see, Forbes isn't going to put just anybody on there. You have to have the utmost knowledge, the utmost credibility. You have to know your subject matter on what you're going to advertise on. And they take very, very much pride in getting that process done. Most recently, this woman spoke at the Southeastern European Summit, okay, on banking and finance and the future of payments. She spoke in front of people like Carl Bildt, former Prime Minister of Sweden. We're talking about the Prime Minister of an entire country. Do you think he has anything to do with the economy of that country? Of course. All right, and the lady below her, Medlena Kuneva, she's the Deputy Prime Minister for European Policies and Coordination and Institutional Affairs for the country, again, of Bulgaria. Nikos Kabanopoulos, General Manager for Visa, Greece, Cyprus, Bulgaria, and all of Eastern Europe, and Marko Jurcic, of course, the economic advisor to the president of Croatia. To say that you can't, again, I absolutely, my mind is absolutely blown sometimes when I think about this. To speak in front of those kind of people about what's happening in the Eastern European, being a technology person, being a banking and finance person, to be able to speak on this level is amazing. But here's what's most telling and most exciting for us. This is the February issue 2016 of Financial IT Magazine. This magazine covers all the latest trends in payments and cash management. All right. It is subscribed to by over 2,000 different banks and financial institutions so that they can stay ahead of the curve. Well, we were contacted by Mr. Chris Principe. He's the publisher of this magazine, and here's what he had to say, and I will read this. It is a quote. All right, OneCoin is leading the charge of acquiring the masses into the cryptocurrency shift across the globe. They're doing an amazing job at what normally is the complicated idea of cryptocurrency and making it ultra simple and easy to understand so anyone can get involved and profit from it. We are most proud of this, and that's what we've been talking about all night. But education is probably the most telling sign of what is to come. Why do you think institutions of higher learning like Duke University, NYU, Stanford University, University of Maryland, MIT, Princeton, the list goes on and on and on, would be teaching our youth about cryptocurrency. Because it's coming, guys, because it's here. It's simple to look at. They're charging anywhere from $13,000 to $18,000 a course. They're teaching courses on the law, the future of it, the possibility of use cases, how to make it, how to maintain it, what its impact is. Why? Because we're educating our youth on what is to come. Just take the clue. It's there. We do the exact same thing. The One Academy Advanced Learning System is our product. We are substantially less money than an education from NYU, no question about it. You can get involved with us for as little as €100, and then all the way up to the Tycoon Trader and above. We have a couple of packages above that, one for $12,500, premium, it's called a Premium Trader, and one for $25,000 that's called an Infinity Trader. Make sure that you talk to the person that invited you to this webinar tonight to get more information on those. But in these educational packages, you learn about cryptocurrency. What is it? How does it impact the world? What are the things it's able to solve? What problems can it solve? Use cases. All right, benefits of cryptocurrency. That's what that is. Okay, how to trade the stuff, what the future of it is, and how it's going to impact the world. And what does our courses include? Well, they include video training, so you can watch it with unlimited viewing. It's got downloadable PDF courseware, online testing, completion certificates, and the whole 9 yards. This is the real deal, guys. And here's what it looks like, all right? Once you take your educational courses and you get everything into mining your tokens, I talked about that, this is how our coin has continued to rise over time, and we are right on the precipice of another price increase. I can feel it, all right? So when I got involved in this idea, it was June of last year. Coin was about $1.47, and you can see that it's had a steady rise up to its price today, give or take a penny, of $5.85. Am I happy? Of course, I'm very happy. Of course, past values do not indicate any future gains. There are no guarantees in this idea, but this is a pretty good looking curve from the time that I've gotten involved in it. So there are a lot of reasons to act quickly. Its uprise, like I just showed you, is just one of them. I'm going to talk about one of our most popular packages. This is called a Tycoon Trader. It's available to you for €5,030. There's a $30 activation fee. That's about $5,800. You receive all 5 levels of the One Academy courseware. This is the highest level of education you can get from us. There is one bonus level. I take that back. At the 12.5 level, it's a 6th level, and you can get that by going there. Here's what it includes: 60,000 free tokens that allow you to participate in one of our private mining pools. Remember that picture I showed you of the miner where we have cyber mines where our computers are generating these coins? Well, you get 60,000 free tokens that allow you to participate in one of those pools to earn your very own coins. You also get access to our exchange. Okay, we have a trading exchange based on European soil so that you can buy and sell one coins at current market prices in the denomination of the country in which we reside, which would be $5.85. You also get up to 2 splits with your tokens. Now, cryptocurrency cannot split. All right, the reason for that is many and too much to go into in this webinar, but just know that once cryptocurrency is declared and minted, so to speak, after its mining process, it is not possible for that to split. So we split the tokens, and here's what that looks like. All right, just a few short months ago, our difficulty factor, our mining factor that I showed you about the people and the time going up was 34 to 1. What does that mean? It took 34 of those 60,000 tokens to generate one coin. All right, so 60,000 divided by 34 would equal 1,764 coins. Today's value, wouldn't matter when you did that, all right? Well, it would have mattered. But if you did it early on like I did, all right, and my coins were valued at $1.47, well, today they're valued at $5.85. That's $10,323.52. But it gets better. Remember, I said that this package can split its tokens up to 2 times. That would be 4 times the number of tokens, or in this case, 240,000. Now, if you were lucky enough to mine those at the 34 difficulty factor, you would have 7,058 one coins, and at today's value, that would be $41,294 in purchasing power. All right, a great, great gain there. But it's not too late. Today, our mining factor is 53, and if you did mine those coins, those tokens, I should say, if you submitted those to mining to mine the coins, it'd be a 53 to 1 today. That's 4,528 one coins, still at today's market price, $26,488.80. Now, here's why we show this slide. Don't procrastinate. Just get your questions answered and don't wait. That mining factor will never be 53 again. When it goes up the next time, I'm projecting 62 to 64. Have been since it went to 53. We're going to have a price increase, coin value somewhere around $7. It's an exciting time to start mining for one coin and helping us get the word out there. So everybody always says to me, man, that sounds unbelievable, too good to be true. Look, it's not too good to be true. There are case after case after case after case on this phone that can tell you otherwise, but everybody wants to know one thing. What's my liquidity? How can I get my money back? How do I get my money out? How do I break even, or how do I make money? Well, it's simple. We have 3 different ways, all right? We've got a one-pay MasterCard. That is put out by the company. The one-pay MasterCard can be loaded with your coin value here coming up real soon. Not just yet, but you can get your money loaded onto that card. You can also use, if you're in the Team USA, you can use the Global Cash Card. That's a Visa card that's not connected to OneCoin. However, you can load your profits from OneCoin on it. All right. And then the old-fashioned way, you can just have a bank wire sent directly from the company into your bank account. I've had a couple of friends do that. So that is exactly how it works. Now, guys, I know I barely took a breath there, so I apologize. I know it's a lot of information, but it is what's going on, and that's what our coin looks like. That's what we're doing. We're buying educational packages. We're submitting our tokens to mining. We're helping the company and Dr. Ignatova get this coin into circulation so that we can have them out there in circulation, become a de facto payment system, and that's what it is. So this next part that I'm going to go through is completely optional. I want you to know that, but I urge you to pay attention. Why? Because this idea of sharing this idea has gone ballistic. We have created over 700 millionaires in the last 12 months. Over 35,000 members earning 6 figures, all right, on an annual basis. The company's already doing over $125 million in sales in a week. Approximately 3,000 customers per day are purchasing our educational packages, submitting their tokens to mining. The company surpassed over $1 billion in sales in our very first year. The fastest company to do it before us was actually Groupon, 2 years, 9 months. So we're crushing records all over the place. And as I showed you before, we currently have a $3 billion market share, actually a little bit better now. I think it's about 3.3 billion or 3.5 billion. It just keeps growing every day. So this is why I want you to pay attention to this next part. It's the part that really opened my eyes. If you're like most people, you like to share things. We've been doing it since we were children. It's natural. All right, what do I mean by that? Okay, well, if you have a good meal or good service at that meal, don't you tell your friends about a great new restaurant in town? Of course you do. We all do. What about new electronic devices, maybe even just a new phone or a new television? We share that information. It's natural to say, dude, you got to come over and watch a movie on my new TV. It's so crystal clear. And that leads us to the third thing, movies. Heck, we're always talking about movies. Man, I just saw this movie. It's the greatest thing since sliced bread. You got to go see it. All right. So much so that Dish Network, smart as they are, and by the way, you can pay your Dish bill with digital currency, said, gosh, this word of mouth marketing thing, this sharing idea, it's powerful. They offer called a $50 referral plan. You can get it at dishnetwork.com/refer. And no, this isn't a Dish Network commercial, but that's what I'm saying. If you refer your friend to Dish, they're going to pay you a bonus of $50. They're also going to pay your friend a $50 bonus. Well, guys, we do the exact same thing. If you refer somebody to one of our educational packages, we're going to pay you a 10% bonus. All right, a €100 package pays €10. A 5,000 euro package pays 5,000 euros. A 25,000 euro package pays 2,500 euros, and so on and so forth. We do the exact same thing. But there's a couple more ways to get paid. This is where I get excited. We have a thing called a fast start bonus, all right, in your first 30 days that you can qualify for. Here's how you do it. To qualify, you need to refer 5,500 euro in personal referrals in your first 30 days. How does that look? Looks like this. Your first friend signs up. They say, man, I want that 5,000 euro Tycoon Trader package. All right. And then another friend signs up and they choose the 500 euro package. How much is that? Well, it's 5,500 euro. You are now qualified. Or it could look like this. An executive trader for 3,000 euro, a pro trader for 1,000 euro, another pro trader for 1,000 euro, and a trader for 500. Again, 5,500 euro. You are now qualified for the fast start bonus. So what is that? Well, that's 10% of every dollar or every euro that you bring in back to $1. So let's say that you continued referring for the rest of that month and you ended up with 40, 50, 60, 70,000 euros in referrals. Well, 10% of 70,000 is what? It's 7,000 euros. I have a friend who's probably on this call who did even better than that in his first 30 days. So it's an exciting bonus. We have another one called a network bonus. We are a two-team system. You have a left team and a right team, otherwise known as a binary two. Here's what that looks like, all right? 10% bonus is paid on the lesser team. So if your right team had 30,000 euro in business volume and your left team had 15,000 in volume, the company is going to pay you on the 15,000 at 10%, or that would be a 1,500 euro network bonus. And I say that like that because I want you to remember those words, network bonus, all right? This is the most important one that we have. It's called generational check match. This is really out of sight because every time you earn this bonus, you can look into your downline and know that somebody else in your organization is also earning money, because you can't get this unless they're earning a network bonus. That's the bonus that we just showed you. So here's how that looks. You start earning generational bonuses, all right, at the trader package. That's the 500 euro package. All right, you get 10% on your first generation. Okay, on your $1,000 package, same thing. Everybody gets 10% all the way up to the Tycoon Trader. Now, if you are a pro trader package, you actually get a second generation, all right, which would mean 10% also all the way up to the Tycoon Trader. If you are an executive trader package, it's 20% on your third generation. So does the Tycoon Trader. And if you have a fourth generation, you actually only get that if you're a Tycoon Trader. Remember, I told you the Tycoon Trader package is super popular. It is because it splits twice, and it also opens up every level of every bonus for referring people into this idea that you can get. So the fourth generation is a 25% override. What does this mean in practicality? All right, well, let's say that I refer Mary. Mary becomes my generation one, of which when she earns a network bonus, I get 10%. Mary goes out and she refers Sarah. Sarah becomes my level 2 or my 2 generation, and she becomes Mary's first generation. You see how that works? But it's my level 2. I will continue to get another 10% when Sarah builds her network. Now, Sarah goes out and gets Jim. Jim becomes my level 3. When Jim goes out and does his business, I get a 20% override on his network bonus because he's making money. All right. And then Jim goes out and gets Carl. Carl blows it up. He's my generation 4, and I'll get a 25% passive override on his network bonus. If the guy earns a $10,000 network bonus in a month or even a week, and I've seen it happen, I'm going to get a $2,500 passive override and feel really good that someone in my organization is making that kind of money. This is very, very powerful. You can have as many generation 1s, 2s, 3s, and 4s as your little heart can stand. All right. This is how this pay plan is impacting the network marketing industry. We have 5 of the top 25 income earners in the network marketing industry are OneCoin independent marketing associates. The number 1, the 3, the 4, the 9, and the 11th. Guys, we are only 14 months old. This is unheard of. Mr. Juha Pariala is making $4 million estimated dollars a month. Now, this isn't something that just shows up on the internet. You can go to businessforhome.org and verify this information. They are a third-party company that verifies incomes and puts them up there. Look at number 3, the Steinkeller brothers, 1.1 million. Sebastian Greenwood, 1 million. These are monthly figures. Last guy, Anton Federspiel, 500,000. That guy, I'm not even going to try to pronounce. All right, 450,000 a month. I mean, these are insane numbers. These are all OneCoin people. Soon that list is going to be even have more pink lines on it than it does now. So, guys, there are no guarantees regarding income. There are no guarantees regarding the coin, and its performance. All right, the success or failure of each independent marketing affiliate in OneCoin, like any other business, depends on that independent marketing affiliate's own skill, their dedication, their personal effort, and leadership qualities. I have a few mentors, and one of them, who I will remain nameless, said to another friend of mine when he said, "Does this work?" He goes, "I don't know. Will you get off the couch and go to work?" That's the only way it will work. This is not a get-rich-quick scheme. All right, I'm not doing this for my health at 7 o'clock on a Tuesday evening. I'm working. All right, just like many of the people on this phone call are. When you work hard, you get rewarded. In a home-based business, in a network marketing business, at your job, hard work gets reward. So guys, it truly does work. If you'll put in the effort, you'll put in the time, and you take this seriously, it'll pay you like no other business or job ever has. Listen, I missed out on Bitcoin. I love this question. Did you miss out on Bitcoin? I knew about it and missed out on it. It wasn't because I was skeptical. I just didn't pay attention. I thought it was funny, cute internet money. I knew about it in 2009, which probably I could have spent $1,000 and probably turned it into who knows how much money. So with that, I want to say this to you guys. Please don't miss out on OneCoin. This is round 2. When I saw this idea came out, I figured it was just a message from the Lord above. I missed out on Bitcoin. It cost my family a ton of money. This idea of cryptocurrency is here, guys. Goldman Sachs, Bank of America, Fidelity Coin, Citigroup. These are clues. I believe it in my heart of hearts. Please jump on board with us. Get back with the person that invited you to this call. Get all your questions answered. Get into your happy place. Be satisfied. Be confident. Do your diligence. We hope that you jump on with us. We hope that you enjoy all the fruits of your labor. I want to appreciate every single one of you for being on the call. I hope that I delivered. God bless everybody on this call, and have a great evening.